Boom. Here we are.
We are live.
So I don't know if a lot of people know this. John and I know it, but there was some confusion with Peter Hurley, and he's got another thing till exactly 1 o'clock. He said he'll join us as soon as he's free. So we told him just do that, and we'll get right into it.
Mm-hmm.
So right now we're just kind of waiting.
Man.
We're kind of waiting on. Well, it was a little bit of a confusion there on the scheduling, but it's all going to work out. He generously and graciously said, whatever. He could have canceled on us, but
he's that kind of a guy. He's just so nonchalant.
Pretty down to earth.
Yeah, exactly.
So meantime, I just want to get the announcements out of the way and let everybody know that we have next week Nathan Grant. I believe he's from Utah. Excellent photographer. I interviewed him 3 or 4 years ago. And we got him coming on a live stream. So mark your schedules. The week after or very soon after, we got Judy Tremblay. Not Judy Tremblay.
Cormier,
sorry. Same thing. We got, hey, John Rummel. Nice to see you here. We got, so Judy Cormier, who I've known for 20 plus years. She's been an amazing photographer. She's weaved in and out of different industries insofar as her photography career has taken her. We'll get into that when we get her on our live stream. So
exactly.
Yeah. So I got a bunch of questions for Peter, as I know you do as well, John. And if you guys have any questions, put them in the thingamabobby on the.
That's right. Because I know I talked to Hark, and he loves them, and that he said if he comes on today, he's gonna definitely think of some questions to put on there for him.
I got a really, really good question from a 25-year-old graphic designer.
Yeah,
my daughter.
Yes.
I'm anxious to hear what he has to say about that.
Well, I've been an admirer of his for a while, so it's gonna be great to have him on here and try and see what makes them tick. I think people are going to be impressed with how we're going to do this a little differently than what most people, because most people ask him all the same questions about how do you do your lighting and what, but we're going to ask him more in-depth questions about him personally, I think more.
So John, somebody's made a comment, said, hey, but we don't know who they are because they show up as anonymous Facebook user. You have to go give permission. Explain that, would you?
I will, and I'll put the link in there. Actually, if you're on through the Facebook page, you'll see in the write-up there, it actually tells you, if you go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, you're actually giving it permission to actually use your name, so that if I want to put your question up there like that, you don't come up as Facebook user, you'll actually come up as your name. Just makes it more personal. And I think a lot of people are afraid to give permission to things because they're afraid they're going to get spammed with all this information or hack their computer. Has nothing to do with that. They just want, because this is a third-party software.
Yeah, or Russian bots.
Exactly. So because it's a third-party software, they just want to know that you're giving them permission to use your name when we do the feeds like this. And then that way you will come in as your name. We know who that hey was, but I had to actually go on to here to see who it is, and it's actually Miss Danielle Provencher that put hey.
That's a good question, Danielle. And John, maybe we can show it on the screen later when we get Peter here. We'll do a quick intro with him, and that would be. I think that's a really good question to bring up right in.
Yeah, I'm reading it right now as we do it. And if anybody does have questions, feel free. I'll have it down listed at the bottom there that you can send questions into the chat room here, and I'll be able to bring them up and ask him, and we'll do our best to get everybody's questions in. He's one of those people, if you know him, he's very energetic, very out there, very eccentric, and he's not afraid to be crazy, and he'll answer whatever he can, and he'll talk, I'm sure, about all of his endeavors, whether it be headshots, whether it be his headshot crew, whether it be I'm actually part of the headshot crew finally. But no, I'm sure if you have a question, and try and come up with something that nobody else would actually come up to ask Peter Hurley. It can be about anything. And try and keep it photography related a little bit if you can, but marketing,
marketing, success, mindset. Sales, mindset's a big one.
He's one that's not afraid to use the sales practices we preach all the time, like not be the cheapest one out there. He's probably one of the more expensive ones. I think just to get under his camera, in front of his camera, it's at least $1,500 just to have your shot done with him.
Where's he located, John?
He's out of New York.
Nice.
Yeah, but he actually travels and that. Yeah, he's a New York boy, and Married to a beautiful young lady, Yelly, I think her name is, and he has two beautiful twin daughters that are roughly, I think, about high school, maybe graduated high school. I can't remember.
So I'm going to see you in 2 days, and my wife and I are packing both cars today
Yep.
for all our ferry gear. Tomorrow morning we're gonna be on the road by 9 a.m.
I'm gonna get my mirror out and take a look at it and see where that little crack is, because I figure we could probably put your mushroom right over the crack.
Yeah, I think that's going to work. If not, no big deal. And what we're referring to is I was there last year doing the Ferry Day event in John's studio. And we had one little boy hold one of our glass props, the crystal ball, and he dropped it and it fell on the mirror.
Well, she was handing it to him. I think you asked the mom to hand it to him. And
he just
grabbed
let
it really and just let it go.
He just let it go. It slipped out of his hand. And anyways, that saves a lot of hassle because we like to use 4x4 reflective plexiglass, mirrored plexiglass.
Yep, which
and
I have.
You acquired one of those, and it was nice to be able to show up. And you had a brand new one.
Yeah,
I think you said a photographer just gave it to you because they were going to get.
No, they sold it to me, but very cheap. Like, it wasn't expensive, and that
good value
out of Ottawa. And it's funny. I think I bought it from her probably, I want to say about 4 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago, and it sat in my studio with still the plastic wrap on it. Like when you get a cell phone, you have that little plastic.
Yeah,
because I'd never used it. It was all intentions for ferry portraits. I never got into doing the ferries.
Well, we got to use it. Brand new. The thing is about those things is they're really, really nice to use as part of the Ferry Day events, and they get scratched though. After 4 or 5 years of many, many ferries, I got to buy a new one, and I noticed, the first one we bought was almost 20 years ago, and it got quite worn. I had to replace it, so I'm on to my second or third one. And then we started doing these on location in London, and we bought some Mylar when we went to London, Ontario. It's hard to pack a 4x4. You need a truck or a large van, and we used 2 cars instead. So instead, we just bought some 4-foot wide Mylar we bought from Amazon, and it worked just as well. Not as nice because the reflections from a 4x4, that's like a literal mirrored plexiglass, is better. Nobody said a word though. Sales were brisk, and that's really all that matters.
Exactly, but it works. And then we have my lights here, and the good thing is, up until I got my Godox ones here, I used my Einsteins and Alien B, which is what you have. So a lot of my soft boxes and everything fit yours, but you still bring your 2 square ones to use for kickers, because I don't have the square. I have like a octagon ones, which
Can you show
work?
Can you show that picture just as we're passing time here that you sent me yesterday? Because I contacted, I couldn't remember what I brought and what I needed to bring, because I like to pack bare bones. And you sent me a cell phone shot from last year.
Yeah, I'm just going to find it on here. And
just to pass the time, since we're waiting for Peter to show up.
Oh, definitely. And then we go StreamYard, and we'll go
Bada boom.
Share my screen, and let's go over here. And I believe it's that one there.
Yeah, it's the one. So that's John's shoot through halo light on the left, right? I didn't bring that.
No, because I had my own.
You have the diffusion panel.
Yeah, with the diffusion panel on it.
80-inch PLM, right?
86.
86-inch PLM, which is like a big giant umbrella.
Yeah, it acts like a softbox. It's got my Einstein 640 in there, and then I got another Einstein 640 here for your background. You got your barn doors on there with a grid.
Yeah.
And then up here is your Alien B. I don't know if it's a 400 or 600 or an 800. I can't remember.
By the way, I have 2 of those. It's very important. You can't see it because the main light's blocking.
Yeah, right behind here. You can see the stand right there where I put Tina's legs there.
Yeah.
And so you got another kicker with I think it's my other Einstein with your softbox on it.
So that 86-inch PLM with the diffusion panel is an excellent light source, and that's something I wish I could use more on outdoors. And if there's no wind, it's suitable. It's such a nice light source. Exactly. But it's really good for ferries. Now, I was looking at this, and I was thinking, you know what? When I go back, I'm going to switch the main light to the other side. I have to be more consistent. I like the main light on the right versus the left, but I think I thought when I was there, I might have been limited for space, and
And see, I'm the opposite. Whenever I light something, I always have the main light on the left-hand side. I don't know, you read a book from left to right, so I've always been light on the left-hand side. It's always been my thing, and I know you're supposed to be able to do either way, but
well,
they're not.
Apparently, from what I have heard, is the main light coming from the right is more conducive to what you just described.
No, exactly. So I think I just see Peter logging in here. So why don't we bring him on in? Let him get comfy there.
There he is.
There he is.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad. Thank you for joining us. I know you got a busy day.
Much
I just
appreciated.
got off this other one. Yeah, it's a little hectic, but that's all right. What's up,
No,
guys?
I apologize for the miscommunication there. And
No, it's not. You didn't miscommunicate. It's just that my Instagram is not, Instagram doesn't make it easily accessible to sort messages.
Yeah. I never liked that about
Definitely.
Instagram. So,
Yeah.
so good. We're glad you're here, anyways, and we'll get you in and out in about an hour's time if that's cool with you.
That'd be great if we could do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but the first question I want to ask you, Peter, if we can start there, and then we're going to get into some of the questions we're going to throw at you. And I just want to quickly just to give us your short version of your sort of life summary. What got you into photography and sort of thing, and where are you at now with all of this?
Okay. My story's pretty crazy.
Give us a short version.
Oh my gosh. I was basically got out of college, was training for the Olympics. I got out of college, got a summer job. The boat I sailed became an Olympic class. So I decided I raced sailboats, decided to go for the Olympics, started training for the Olympics, met a designer at DKNY, and she's like, I'll take pictures of you. You're good looking. And took some pictures and sent them over to Ralph Lauren. And the next thing I know, I'm in an ad campaign for Polo, and Bruce Weber shot it. So Bruce and I became friends, and I started a modeling career after the Olympics were over, after I missed the U.S. team that year. And I modeled in the city for a while, and Bruce was like, pick up a camera, pick up a camera, pick up a camera. And I was like, why would I pick up a camera? And then I was like, I'm sick of this bartending gig. Let me pick up a camera.
Right.
And that was it. And I started to go for it. I didn't know I was going to fall in love with it. I didn't know I was going to. It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah. Who's Bruce was his name?
Bruce Weber.
Was he a photographer? Sorry for my ignorance.
He's like the most, I would say, top 5 most famous portrait photographers in the world.
Rob's like in his 60s, so he's kind of like.
Hey, I'm sure you guys are right behind me. So, well, there's so many names out there, you know.
And is that how you met your wife? Because your wife did some modeling too, right? I remember you saying one time she was on the cover on one of your Instagram stories. You were talking about how you were in a Shoppers Drug, like a drugstore or something. You saw on the bottles that you buy for hair dye, and there's your wife's picture right on it.
Yeah. I met my wife at a casting. We were in line. I was modeling, and we were in line for a job, and she was behind me, and we started talking, and that was it. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, anybody listening should go look up Bruce Weber, though, for sure.
All right. Definitely. Sorry for asking that question, but hey, we can't remember everything.
No, he's not. He's super huge, and he's Bruce _Weber on Instagram. Stuff's like he just shoots Vanity Fair, Ralph Lauren, Versace, all the Calvin Klein. He did all this stuff in the '80s for Calvin Klein, and he just blew up. So he's known as shooting the male form better than anybody, I would think. And but he does a bunch of really cool work.
Cool.
Huge.
He probably knows Annie Leibovitz, I'm sure.
Yeah.
She's one name, I think, from a similar background from your area. And so you're in New York, right? If I remember?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks for that. I'm going to give you a question right now. And coincidentally, it happens to be from my daughter. She's 25 years old. She's a full-time graphic designer. Okay, let me pull the question here. I think maybe John is going to be able to throw it up on the screen. And then we got a whole bunch of questions. So she says, hi, Peter. I'm a 25-year-old graphic designer who works full-time in-house for a cosmetic surgeon and medical spa. She has to do headshots. That's one of her jobs. She does all the social media, graphic design, billboards, yada yada. And they're like, okay, we need staff pictures, headshots, and I try to guide her and get her to do these efficiently. And they're pretty good. She's doing a pretty good job. But here's her problem, and I want to know your sort of feedback on this.
Sure.
The staff are really hard on themselves and don't like the pictures. And not everybody. I mean, some of them, a high enough percentage that it drives her batty. So do you have any insights or tips to manage their expectations or to deal with that sort of scenario? What do you think about that?
That's amazing. That's like the question I always get. So my vendetta for life or purpose is to try and figure out how to make people feel good about their appearance. And I did a TEDx talk on it. If you guys Google Peter Hurley TEDx, it'll come up. It's called Bridging the Self-Acceptance Gap. So people look at their picture and they go, oh, wow, look, I don't want to look at that. You know, I got all these bags under my eyes. I didn't sleep last night. I should have lost the 10 pounds. That in order to combat that, you really have to be skilled at your craft. It's like the surgeon she works for, you know, that guy's got to be skilled at making people look better. You know, I think photographers have to be like surgeons. Like, we really got to know what we're doing. We got to go in for something very specific. And that's why headshot photography, I'm so specific. So first of all, one, light it well. If you light somebody well, chances are they've never been lit that well and they've never been in front of a professional camera lit that way. You could probably shot and be better than anything that they have right off the bat before you even dive into honing in on their expression. If people are uncomfortable in front of a camera, it's too obvious. It just looks obvious and kind of freaks people out. So they look freaked out. So if they look freaked out, they're not going to feel attractive. If they don't feel attractive, they're not going to like the pictures, you know, that they're looking at. So you've got to play this game of being an expert, knowing how to coach. And that's what I teach on the Headshot Crew, which is my platform. I just teach photographers how to coach. And I just shot A-Rod last week, and he said to me, I was coaching him. He said, how come nobody ever told me this stuff? I was like, because most photographers don't know how to coach. So I was like, I coach. I coach the face. I call myself it's like a facial conveyance strategist. Like, what's the face conveying? I'm strategizing with them to get their face to convey something that I like. So what are they actually conveying through the picture? And if they don't like what they're conveying through the picture, they're not going to like the picture either. So
I love it.
It's very true.
Facial conveyance strategist. I just wrote that one down. That's a writer downer.
Yeah.
So I keep telling her she lacks experience and it'll come. Her confidence will come. And obviously there's more to it than that. She has to join the Headshot Crew and she can learn how to get all that stuff. I was just going to say that. That's a really good idea. But
you can learn how to do it.
But
tell her to jump in for a week. It's a free trial. You just go to my Instagram, link in my bio on my Instagram, or go to headshotcrew.com and you sign up for a week, and you get a week's worth of videos and emails to me, and you try it out and you get involved.
So above and beyond lighting, the fact that you use that term coaching, you're coaching people, you're coaching your subject, your person who you're photographing, correct? And you're leading them down the right path. You have this strategy in mind with which to achieve a certain result. Would you say that that's probably the most important thing that somebody really needs to grasp?
Yeah, but if you can't technically take a sound picture, you got issues. So
let's assume that. Yeah,
it's a juggling act. But once you've got the technique down with the pictures, then you're just in business. You know, then it's just. Then it's just coaching. So I opened up a Twitter account in like 2009, and it said put in the bio. I was like, what am I going to put in this bio? And I remember I put 90% therapist, 10% photographer.
All right.
That's really what it is. I mean,
it's true.
The thing is, when if you're that the guy she works for is the same thing. Like, he's got to convince his clients that he's going to take care of them, get the job done well before they even go into the surgery. You know, it's like anything. You go to get yourself go to a barber or whatever. They're talking you into with some sort of look or whatever they're doing to you, cleaning you up. They got to have that. You know, it's a relationship thing.
Definitely.
So, sorry, John, I'm going to let you ask a question next. I just want to finish this topic. I just got one more sort of sub question to this because I find this very, very fascinating. The fact that there's always this psychological, almost a psychic connection between photographer and subject, and what we're talking about here, I think plays directly into that, and managing that and developing that as a skill set. All things told, like I've been pretty good at everything else, and I've always felt, even though I'm 63 years old now, I've always felt I still kind of struggle with that area. And for me, it seems to be of utmost importance, assuming everything else is going to be well taken care of. So it's almost like you're leaving a piece of yourself in the picture. Does that make any sense to you, Peter? Insofar as when
I like that. I never my thing is always expression. So I think I technically I light it really well, and I think it's cool, and it's a done deal. Mm-hmm. But my thing is I like to get expressions that other photographers would have a hard time capturing, because that's the coaching. Then you could see it. Then that's a Peter Hurley headshot, because the casting directors in New York, when I started shooting actors, and I was only shooting actors for a while, and the casting directors in New York, this one at ABC, she goes, I could see a Peter Hurley headshot a mile away. And everybody they copy me, but they wouldn't get the expression. And she'd be like, no, that's Peter. This is right. They shoot a white background, whatever, but then they'd be like, no, Peter took this.
There's something to that, and I've seen people get it technically perfect, but the picture is dead. The expression is lacking, even though we have a beautiful subject, man or a woman, kid or adult, whatever. There's that something missing. So call it non-existent facial activity or escalated facial anxiety. It's you see it in their face. All right. You're so good with terms, facial conveyance strategist. I'm gonna just bring this other question up right away because it segues perfectly. I thought this was genius. I only discovered it about 2-3 months ago watching some of your videos on YouTube. Hurleyisms.com.
I was just thinking that Hurleyisms.
Where did you come up with this? This is genius. Man. I love it. So what happened was I was shooting actors, and I had this whole scheme of how to coach them, and it was really cool. And I was like, all right, I got them. I'm putting them in scenes. I'm telling them they're, hooking up with Brad Pitt or whatever. And the girls go crazy, whatever. I'm saying all this stuff because I was an actor. It was fine. Then I got this CEO that came in and got in front of my camera, and I was like, I don't know what to say to this guy. Right.
And I was like, I need something that I can say to everybody that's not a joke, that's a quick hit. They can't answer me. It has to be like something that hits them that's like out of the blue, but just not normal. And I call it misdirection. So it's basically direction by misdirection. So I'll tell somebody something. What I found was, and people ask me this all the time, how do you get your subject to relax in front of the camera? And because nobody's relaxed in front of a camera generally. I mean, I am because I modeled for years, but other people generally get in front of the camera and aren't. The photographer says relax, which only draws attention to the tension, which is silly. Yeah. So one thing that I found is that it's more humans would rather be right than be concerned with their appearance.
Okay.
So the concern for the appearance. So if you get them to forget about the camera, then they look chill. So what I use are these, and it's just silly stuff. Like one of my favorite ones is, you guys can try this. Close your mouth and pull the corners of your mouth through your earlobes so your mouth starts to form a U.
I was just reading
right? You can't be thinking about your face and think about the camera. All I'm doing is asking you to smile without saying it. But you have to think, So things like that. Like I'll use directional stuff. Like right now, guys, can you turn your hips slightly towards the Canadian border? Now they're spatially. Where am I? Like you can't think
exactly
while you're thinking about that, and so it's just dumb, but it works, and I sprinkle it in a way that people are like, what did he just say to me?
That's cool.
Yeah.
I my formative years, I shot many children, and I had a list of words, and I had them taped inside my camera closet in my studio. Similar, but I really thought that was quite smart what you created, Hurleyisms.com.
Yeah.
is the website for that. And it's an app, I believe it goes on your phone.
It's just a browser based. So you just
Okay.
go to Philosms.com. It'll play like 50 of my favorite ones at the time. And then there's a subscription if people want to dig into, like, there's like 1,000 of them in there or something. I just went crazy and just kept thinking of them. I haven't looked at it in a long time, and we built it a long time ago. I have nothing to do with it, and I don't want to make a dime off of it. I had this other guy.
Oh.
I could probably talk to him about that.
Oh, okay.
So
maybe we got to convert it to an app. I thought it was absolute genius, by the way.
I got to get it into an app. Yeah.
Very, very practical tool insofar. You think of somebody in their 20s or just getting into photography, they're very passionate. Perhaps they lack experience. I always tell people, get really good at public speaking. Do anything to increase your confidence. I was extremely shy very young, and I joined Toastmasters. I got very proficient as a public speaker, and this all helped me in the studio. What advice would you have for somebody who is in a similar situation, or what would you tell your 24-year-old self if you could go back in time, so to speak?
Yeah, people ask me that sometimes too. Well, the one thing that I always say is if I could go back, I just tell myself to stop worrying about everything. Like, I'd be like, what were you worried about? Like, all I did was doubt and worry, and everything happened. Everything worked out fine. It just went down. Like, what were you worrying about? Stop that. I think there's a lot of growth in. I was a shy. People don't believe this, but I was a shy kid, and I remember getting into my first. I had modeling. I was a little shy, and I wasn't good in front of the camera, and people had to like coax things out of me. I didn't know it at the time. I just was a kid, in my teens. And my agent got me into it, said, you got to get into like a acting class, maybe we can get you on a soap opera or something. So I went on to All My Children, and the guy said, I'll put you in the background and then get in an acting class. Eventually we'll give you some lines and stuff like that. I was like, cool. All right. So I go in this acting class, and they made me slate my name in front of like 10 other students. And slating your name, I would just have to stand straight ahead and say, my name's Peter Hurley. I couldn't say it. I was so nervous. I was like,
wow, really?
So, I was not at all acclimated to my own the being that I was. I was just not there. There was very little confidence in me. And
hard to believe.
Nobody believes it now. I mean, I had situations where I just was like that. I would lose it. And now I really enjoy I was 26, 27. I got my first speaking gig to speak at a Google conference for Google, the Google Plus Photography Conference. And it was the first time I had really was speaking. I had spoken at B&H. The thing is that on photography, on my subject, I own my space. So it gives me confidence, my work and my craft gave me confidence. This is years later. I mean, and I had also gotten into acting and gotten better at acting and stuff like that. But still, I get on stage and I remember they told me it was my time, and I'd never spoken in front of more than like 50 people or something like that. And there were like 500 people in the audience. And I'm trying to get my keynote presentation going, and the little play button is in the upper corner, and I'm on the mouse pad and the trackpad, and I can't get my finger to stop shaking to hit play. I couldn't get it there. And I look back at that talk, and I'm like, now I go on stage and I challenge myself before I go on to see how I can mess with the audience, how I can mess with myself, how I can grow from it. And it's the same thing that I do with clients. When clients come in, I used to have to meet them. I want to meet them. I want to get comfortable with them. I want to sit them down. I want them to get comfortable with me. And all of it's a crutch. It's a crutch for not being good enough. I just wanted to be better. And now I'm better, and I don't need to do anything like that. Now I'm better on stage. I actually enjoy being on stage. I actually love it and miss it with COVID. I'm actually going to Vegas for WBBI and probably doing a little speaking and stuff like that. And I haven't done it in a while, so I'm psyched. So it's fun, but all of it's learned, right? Like, I don't think, so I'm still trying to grow as a human being in terms of that one-on-one connection with other people. So I'm I still haven't felt like the most confident human being in previous lifetimes or whatever. Years ago, I had I used to have problems with eye contact. It's hard for me with eye contact and stuff with people. And I realize eye contact in the camera is so important. So I've been working with eye contact with people in terms of confidence. Some people will stare you down and their eye contact doesn't move from your eye, and it freaks me out. I don't know if you know those people. I'm like, this person is just drilling me with eye contact. And I was like, I can't really handle this right now.
That's my mom.
Yeah, right. I'm fine if they're speaking to me. I'd be like nodding my head, looking them in the eye, and then looking off a little bit. But if I have to speak to them and they're drilling me with eye contact, I can't think about. My brain is so consumed on them staring me down that I can't think about what I'm saying. So I'm always looking off and looking around. So anyway, earlier in my life, I would always have problems with eye contact, but I didn't know anybody knew. I would just be not a confident individual with that for some reason. No idea why. Yeah. And happy to admit it. But there was this girl who was from Czechoslovakia. There's a cultural thing between people. And I was sailing and she was dating a friend of mine who was a sailor. And we were at this party and she goes, "Oh, you're the guy that doesn't look people in the eye." And I was like, what? He said, "Yeah, this guy said you don't and you don't." And I was like, wow. And I was
That's
like,
funny.
and I knew it, but I didn't know other people knew it.
Yeah. It was that obvious. And do you think it was because you were shy?
Yeah. Yeah, I was shy.
So, but okay, here, people don't stare at each other directly in the eye. I mean, some do, but most people, it's normal that you look and then you look away, you look away. That seems to be normal to me. But you're talking about being far more anxious than that, where you're
it's like
avoiding eye contact.
Yeah, I read a book on eye contact too. I forget the major points in the book, but one of them is that look at the person's eye and figure out the eye color. Like it takes you a little while. You gotta then you're really looking at the eye to figure out the eye color. I don't think I ever saw people's eyes. And as a photographer now, eye color is everything to me. Like I'm looking for I'm amazed at some of these people's eyes that I've seen. Now I compliment people's eyes. I'll stare them down. I'll look right into them, and I'll force myself to do the eye contact thing to grow as a human being. And it's still that that's still in the back of my mind, that growing up thing. And I don't know where it came from or what it was. I noticed my daughters doing it, and I hope they didn't get it from me. And I have to have a conversation with them about it. But they're still young. They're they're twins. They're 18, and I didn't want them to get that from me anyway.
Yeah. I think that brings Hark's question here too. That what he's talking about. It says, "How long were you shooting before you gained that confidence to put the people in front of your camera and get that headshot?" I think it kind of goes on what you're saying with because of the eye contact and getting that confidence to.
Yeah, there's confidence in different areas. Every single area of your life is going to be gauged differently in your brain in terms of how confident you are at it, depending on what it is. So for me, the camera gives me confidence. It gives photographers confidence. You hide behind it. It's there. It's powerful. I never had anybody look into it and not be affected by it. It's a huge, powerful thing. So that gives me juice, and I'm freaking good at it. So now I'm like, okay, I get that thing, and I'm like, it gave me more confidence than I had without it. It's amazing. I coach a lot of photographers through the Headshot Crew, and I am blown away. I do this thing called the Headshot Intensive, where I'm one-on-one I'm in a workshop environment where I teach a workshop to 10 photographers, and there'll be somebody who didn't speak for 2 days. All of a sudden, on the second day, we shoot all day long, all afternoon. That second day in the afternoon, all of a sudden their camera comes up in front of them and they just become this different animal. I'm like, you're a beast. Where was this person yesterday? What's going on with you? Well, I got my camera. I was like, wow. It's a cool topic to discuss. And I love digging into my, what are maybe called false to some people. I think I've turned out very well with everything whatever's happened in my life and got me to this point. I feel proud of myself and the way I am. And if that was part of the journey, then so be it. And at least I'm aware of it. I'm working on it, and I like it. And I actually am challenged by it now, which I like.
That's cool. So it's been a journey.
Yeah, and it's a continuing journey. It's evolving, right? You got to. If it stagnates, then what are we doing?
I think a lot of people miss that point, and 100% get it. And I could say the same thing about my life and my journey. It's been like, if you saw me when I was 26 and when I was 16. And anyways, it's an interesting commentary, and it's not a direct answer to Hark's question on, I don't think it's that binary in black and white. So, no. John, do you have a question for Peter? I got a couple more goofy questions.
Well, no, one thing I was noticing is like I did his 7-day trial and actually just joined the headshot crew after the trial was over. And one thing I noticed in one of the videos that I thought was very, what a lot of people don't get to see when you have somebody who's as successful as you are, is that you don't see yourself as, okay, I've got there, I can just sit back, and that you're always trying to learn. Because I think one of the videos you were saying, I've never taken the perfect headshot. I still haven't taken the best headshot, and I'm still working on doing that. Because everybody looks at you as the headshot guru, and, Peter can do anything when it comes to headshot, but you're still not totally satisfied that you've taken your best headshot. And I think that's a big thing that people need to hear, because they think once you get to that level, you could just sit back and relax.
Well, if I did, and then I'm at the end of my rope, right?
Yeah. But I find it's funny because even with pro athletes, they're always trying to best. They still need a coach, and that's what I try and tell people. Yeah. It doesn't matter how good you get, you're always going to need your own coach.
Yeah, yeah, and you should always be tweaking it. Like I love that I nailed down the way I do things. Right now, I've been working on the direction, like the Hurleyisms, for instance, the crap that I used to say. Like it used to be like 90% of my shtick. It was not, people get in front of my camera, I was saying all this stuff. And then I realized I was like, well, wait a minute, I don't need all that. Or maybe I can get there another way. Maybe I can get a little deeper sense of somebody without doing all this. I mean, it's a lot of work too, to keep doing that stuff. Mm-hmm. So I just fine-tuned it to start working more on noticing. I just had to take it to another level. So my level now is more noticing the person's energy and what they're giving off, like when they walk in the room. So if somebody like me that I did a TEDx talk on this, if they got in front of a camera and they were considered a diminisher, so they diminish, then I have to lift them up, and I'd have to feel that through their tone, their posture, the way, how responsive they are to me. And I'm just reading that stuff and getting an intuitive idea of which direction I have to go. And I'm usually right. It's just been working. And the thing is, that's the cool stuff. So it challenges me. I love being challenged now. I really am over things being, easy and just sitting in there and doing the same thing over and over and over again. Now I think every human being is so unique that I want to challenge myself to tweak little things with each person. And it's rewarding. It's so much more rewarding and more fun. And then you get shots that are a little different. You're like, wow, that was cool. That's different.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you and Rob are similar too, because Rob's big fan of goal setting. Rob's always talking about writing your goals down, putting them there. And you're a big goal setter yourself. You're always doing your get up and goals and having a goal for each day, even if it's just to go to the coffee store and get a coffee. That's a goal for you. Like you always, and I think you're a big fan of, is it Bob Proctor? You said, when it comes to goals and stuff. And you and Rob are like, he's a big goal setter himself. And I think that helps with your photography too.
He lives in Toronto. He's still going. He's got to be in his 80s.
He's 87. Yeah.
He's still
awesome. Yeah, I've hung out with him.
I think that goes in with the goal setting too, with everything you're saying. You're always making another goal of how to improve yourself every day.
Well, Bob got me to do it. I met Bob in 1997. I didn't really realize that I was goal setting at the time. And then I went through Bob's programs, and then I applied it to my photography at the very beginning. And that was kind of the process that I went through. The dogs are fired up.
Who let the dogs out? They sound very dangerous, those dogs do.
Yeah, they're tough. Hold on.
It's all good. It's all good. Okay, let me ask you this question then. I had it on my list of questions I thought I'd ask you. I didn't know if I was gonna, but here it goes. Who's your favorite mentor?
It would have to be Bruce Weber or Bob Proctor, one of the two.
Cool.
If I had a favorite one, I'd say I probably wouldn't be a photographer without Bruce, and I wouldn't have the success I've had without Bob. So it's a
Excellent.
toss.
Excellent.
Very good answer.
Okay, here's a crazy question. What beliefs do you hold dearly that the world might think you're insane for believing?
Oh my gosh! Wow.
I don't think I've ever heard Peter like speechless.
It's a bit of a tricky one, but it makes you think about what makes you
insane for thinking. I think that this year I just decided that I was going to stretch myself and try some willpower stuff and see how my brain works in terms of pushing the envelope of what I'm capable of. And it's been really interesting. So I started the year, I wouldn't consider myself a big drinker, but with COVID, I was drinking like every night. I was like, this is enough is enough. So I'm racing in this world championship, and I have to weigh like 180. I want to weigh like 187 for the boat, and I was like 200 something. Anyway, I'm 192, 193, 192 right now, and the race is in September. I'm going to get down to 187. So I was like, all right, I'm going to quit drinking, and I've been following this guy Wim Hof on these cold shower things. So I was like, I'm going to try. Yep. I hate cold water. Like I won't sail in the cold. So I started doing cold showers every day. Nice. I quit drinking. I did, what else did I do? I did this thing where with this buddy of mine where we had to do like 15 minutes of stretching, 15 minutes of abs, and 15 minutes of meditation every day. And I started doing that. And I did that for 158 days, I didn't drink. But on my 20th anniversary, my wife said, "You're drinking." So, and that was June 8th. So from December 31st at midnight till June 8th, I didn't drink. And now I've been on and off to just doing whatever I want. But nice. I think the thing is that I don't think that I had never done that before. I mean, I was never a huge drinker, but I never been like, I'm definitely not doing it for 158 days.
Right.
And I try to push people like, what could you mix up in your life that you never, like I never did my abs I got good abs, but now I got like crazy abs,
right.
15 minutes every day. Like, I never stretched every day, all this stuff. So little things like that. And then since I'm on this willpower kick, if something else comes up for me that I can think of that I want to stretch myself, I'll just do it. Like fasting. I started fasting. I never fasted. I never knew about fasting. I did an 86-hour fast this year just because I was trying. I was like 86 hours. That was amazing. I just did 48 last week. I've been doing like 20 hours every day. Now I'm on one meal a day right now. And I never did that before. So it's interesting.
I've been doing Wim Hof for 5-6 years now, just for the record.
Oh, really?
I find that totally fascinating. Fascinating. And I've also been on a carnivore keto diet going on 3 years. I went from 196 to 170. I weigh what I weighed when I was 16, 17 years old. It's the best thing I've ever done. I used to be a vegan. Anyways, I'm not going to get into that, but I just wanted to drop that in your lap.
I'm in keto too.
What's the best advice you ever heard, and what's the worst advice you've ever heard?
Man, you're making me think.
Yeah, we're trying to throw questions that are, and I really want to ask
different than what you normally get. That's what we want to do.
I want to ask you too about sailing. Do you think your sailing experiences have really molded you?
That's what I was wondering. How it's changed, how it's motivated you into your photography career.
Well, wait, now you're starting to throw three things at me.
Yeah, sorry about that. We'll just shut up now.
Let's go. I'm going with the sailing because the other ones are tough. Sailing is like, there's so many facets of it that have affected so many different things in my life. So, for instance, I started sailing at the age of like 6 or 7. By the time I was 13, I was a world champion in this boat. You're alone in the middle of the water by yourself, like on this vessel, trying to. It's like playing chess while the board's going like this. It's like crazy where the wind's going different. Like the thought process, the timing, the attention to detail. Like, there's so many things, just navigating it, and tactics, strategy, all that stuff. It just keeps me sharp in everything in my life. And plus, I really think you need an outlet beyond what you do at work or whatever. I don't feel like I'm working when I take pictures. I just love it. Even that, like, I just love doing this stuff. So I don't feel like, but with the sailing, it's my outlet, and plus competing at the highest level in the boat that I trained for the Olympics, and I still get to sail it. Unfortunately, I got to photograph the designer of the boat that I sailed. It's called a Laser. It's called an Ilka now. They changed the name because of a ILCA, because of a lawsuit. But this guy designed it, and Sailing World Magazine sent me to go photograph him when he was like 89 years old 3 years ago, and he just passed away 3 days ago. So I posted that on my Instagram, that I got to have this shoot with the guy that designed the boat that changed my life. The reason why I met my wife, the reason why I got into photography it was because I got into modeling, all of that. And then I picked up a camera, all because of this boat. This boat changed everything for me. So amazing. I still am competitive in it. It keeps me in shape, and that has shaped everything for me. Yeah, this is a recent shot of me doing my thing.
Cool.
Fairly, yeah.
I love sailing. I haven't done much of it, but I've always felt that sailing was the ultimate, the highest order of athleticism. I've always felt that, especially those long around the world races. Those are insane.
Those people I don't do that. I can't. I go out, sail around a bunch of buoys, and come back in.
But I like your description, and we find it fascinating that there's a connection between that and who you are and how it's molded your. So what is the best advice you've ever heard? Anything come to mind yet?
Yeah, I forgot what the question was.
That's it. What's the best advice?
Question, and I want to get it right. Yeah, I'm thinking, I gotta have something good here.
First thing that comes to mind is okay.
First thing that comes to mind is something about the whole personal development stuff. Like, if you could see it, and you believe it, you could do it. I mean, that's really what it is. Because every day, like, I do this wake up and goals thing. Every day I'm like, what am I trying to strive for? What can I do? Can I actually do it? Like, I don't think if I would go back and tell the kid that picked up the camera that this happened, that there's no way I would believe myself. So the fact is that, yeah, you can do it. You got to find that something that lights you up in order to do it. And I think that's what it's really about. And if you find that, the problem is if you can't find it, like, and what happens is when you achieve goals and then all of a sudden you go, okay, I made it here. Okay. Oh, well, now you're just spinning your wheels. Like, here, that's as humans, there's growth factor involved that we need to deal with. So we have to grow. And if you don't, it's like you're not happy, and not being happy because of zero growth means that you're stagnating and you're not pushing your envelope. And we got to push. Envelopes have to be pushed, no matter where you are in life. Everybody, at any age, it's just like, it changes with time. But I just feel very fortunate that I'm still in the shape to sail, and that I have a thriving business that people come in and want to get in front of my camera.
It's amazing. That was a good answer, by the way. I don't know if you could have come up with a better answer. I don't think Bob Proctor or Joe Rogan or anyone else could have come up with a better answer than that one. I love it. So do you have an answer to the other question I threw at you? You can skip it if you want. What's the worst advice you've ever heard?
Oh my gosh.
Come on the no BS photo buzz.
Worst advice is you can't be a photographer.
Right.
You can't. You have to go. And it was probably, unfortunately, and I had this discussion with my mom before she left us. Parents will look to protect you, and my parents, my brother, is a successful finance guy, and back then when I was sailing away and had to and the sailing ended, I had to get a real job. Everybody's like, you got to go work for your brother, and I was like, I guess I'm going to go work for my brother. And then I was like, but I'm not going to sit by a computer and look at numbers and stuff. I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
And I picked up a camera and I was like, I love this. I want to do this. And nobody believed that I could, create a life for myself with a camera. And they were wrong.
Yep.
They were wrong. In a big way.
I think as a photographer, we all get that because my parents were very supportive. But I know even when I moved in a small town here in Ottawa area, the Ottawa Valley of Canada here, and I moved here and I married a Valley girl from here. And my wife, I'm from Toronto, the big city, and my wife told me when I started putting my prices out there, there's you're never going to get that price. So there's no way. And I'm told that all the time, like you're going to have to lower your prices and that. And I'm the top price guy in the area, I'm pretty sure. I'm still nowhere close to where I should be, and I still have ways to go. But they all said, you're never going to make it full-time. You better get another job to do and do the photography part-time. Here I am 10 years full-time in this area, and I'm the highest paid photographer in the area. So
don't listen to the naysayers.
Exactly.
I don't mean to take this down, but since it came up, I should tell this story. So this is just, I dedicated my book to my mom and everything, and I lost her to ovarian cancer in 2013, but I was friendly and am friends with Jared Poland, who lost his mom to cancer as well. And I was talking to him while this was going on, and he said, the one thing you have to do is you have to tell your mom everything. Because I was taking care of her and I was with her, and it was getting to the point where they were pumping her with drugs. She was starting to not be as lucid. And I was like, he's like, tell her everything. And I told her that I said, you drove me to be the best photographer I could be because you said I couldn't do it. So it was cool that I got that. And my mom was my biggest supporter once I made it. So for people to understand that their parents, your parents want the best for you. Yep. But then they're gonna stop you with. I never wanted to stop my kids with their dreams. Like I let them, and I feel like I have done that a little bit with, and I regret my one daughter wanted to get a YouTube channel going and do videos and me to help her, and I was like, nah, I don't know, I was like, and I threw it by the wayside, and now she's 18, and I'm like, I should have done that with her. I was like, I don't know why I didn't do, like that, and it brings me back to, I don't want to stop my kids from doing anything that they want to do. And I want to be supportive of whatever it is, because you never know where it's going to go.
Is that your daughter?
I just wanted to put that up there because that's not your daughter, but she designed that, did she not?
My daughter styled that. That's Miss Universe from 2008, Diana Mendoza. And nice. My daughter came on the shoot and styled. My daughter's into fashion design and fashion and wanted to do some styling stuff. So she came on the shoot and she did a great job, and I was
that's why I wanted to put it up there, because I remember seeing that.
What's your Instagram? Where can people find you on Instagram?
Peter_Hurley.
All right. Okay, we got to let you go in a few minutes, so I gotta. John, if you have any questions to throw in there, I just got even goofier questions. So.
No, I'm just taking it in. Like usually when we're here, I usually let Rob take control of this, and I just control the background here and that.
I'm with you guys. This is cool. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, no. We wanted to basically, we'd like to do this as just a conversation with you. We don't want preconceived questions like some shows do, because it sounds preconceived. And also, we wanted to ask you more. Everybody asks you, okay, tell us about your triangle lighting set. They can go to Hurley. The Hurley, Peter, what is it? The Headshot Crew, and they learn all that stuff. We want to find more about you.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm more interested in your marketing side.
When I came in, you guys were just going, and I was like, "Are they going to officially start this thing, or is it they just go?" And I was like, "All right, it's just going. You guys are just chill." I was like,
"We didn't want to waste any time." So, tell me, Peter, what's your favorite movie of all time?
Oh my God!
That's an easy one. Come on.
I'm to see what popped in my head first. Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah. There you go. That's your third person. I've always had that one, and we had wasn't it? No, it wasn't Ben. It was somebody else came on and they said
popular. It's one of the most popular movies of all time. Okay, exactly. So you're on a stranded island, and like the movie Castaway, and who's your Wilson? The volleyball. If you can bring one person, who would that be? And one food. You're only allowed one food and one CD. Album, music. What are those three things?
Oh my gosh, you guys are throwing. Well, chocolate chip cookies would be the
Fair enough.
the Wilson, the one person. What am I going to do? Say my wife? I guess.
I don't know. I was going to say, if Yelly's watching this, you better say that.
You're obligated to, but you don't have to. I've always say you don't have to. It can be anyone, and she'll forgive you. She'll understand. It's a hypothetical.
Okay. I get to hang with her. She's cool.
Cool.
And what was the other thing? The one
CD.
CD.
Music CD.
I'm not that musically inclined. I would say, I don't know. U2, something at U2. I like.
Oh, there you go. The Joshua Tree. They're number one album.
That would be my favorite.
That's it. Joshua Tree would do it.
Yeah.
So it'd be a 80s hair band music. That's what I would have brought.
Well, you got no hair. What the hell? Come on, man.
I did back then.
All right, so we got 2 more minutes. Any closing thoughts, John? You have any final questions to throw to?
No, I'm glad we were able to get you on here because we had 2 Headshot crew members on here. Robert Noel, who's from Ontario here too.
Yeah.
And Ben Markham, we had him on too. We both told him put a good word into Peter because we want to get him on here and talk to him. So, but I just went and reached out to you myself. So.
No, I love it. I'm totally in, and I enjoyed every minute of this. I just lost it in the feed, and I didn't get it on my calendar, so we almost didn't make it. So I was glad it was your daughter your daughter reached out to me.
No, it was myself actually that reached out to you.
No,
through Instagram.
Yeah, but I figured it out that I was going tomorrow because somebody wrote, "Hey, you're going."
That was my daughter. Daughter. She shared it with her people, and she tagged you.
Yeah, exactly.
And you were like, "What? I got to be on this thing tomorrow."
I don't have anything on my schedule. What's going on? And it was just that our Instagram messaging didn't get to my schedule because this doesn't work too well in between the 2 of these.
No, and I'm trying to still make it on a Sunday to your. I guess it's on the Crewcast or something where you have with the new members and that and they come on Sunday.
No, we do it not during the summer, dude. I'm saying,
okay.
I'm like, there's a recording right now. It's a recording, but I got to do it. And I did use StreamYard for one of those. I think it's recorded on Stream. I don't know, but anyway, this is cool.
We love it this way. This is awesome, and I'm glad you came in. But I'll let Rob do a couple more questions here because I know we told you an hour, and it's coming up to an hour. So
we're done. I am filled with gratitude and appreciation for you being here, Peter. We'll let you go now if you want to head out, and maybe 4, 5, 6 months from now, we'll get you back on. But a whole series of new questions, and we'll try and ramp it up.
I love the questions, and I love being put on the spot, so it was fun.
Who knows? Maybe by then I'll come on like as a mentor of the Crewcast. By then, who knows?
Yeah, you got work to do with your portfolio.
I do got lots of work to do.
Well, I gotta see.
I put it up there. Let me see just before you leave here.
Portfolio reviews tomorrow. If I don't do this shoot, this band hasn't gotten back in touch with me, so I may just be doing portfolio reviews tomorrow. So maybe I want to look at yours tomorrow.
Yeah, because I think, let me see here. Where is it? I got the Headshot Crew's Facebook
John, you got
page
called
here.
out.
I did, and I'll have to do it. And I don't know if you can see that screen right there.
That's it.
And if I go to my account there, and I've already got this one up.
Get that in there. Look at that. There's the stuff.
I still have a lot of work to do, but yeah, well, if you want, tomorrow we'll pick it apart or whatever.
You're getting it. I'm happy to critique it tomorrow.
All right. We'll get to that later.
All right.
All right, Peter, we'll let you go.
I'm going to go. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Peter.
It.
Take care.
All right. Yeah. All right. Bye-bye.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was nice of him to come on. I'm glad we were able to finally get him on because I know that's just his personality. He has actually, I found he was a little bit more laid back today than his normal energetic self, but the information was great, I think.
No, absolutely. And I think we threw him for a loop with the questions. And but he's resilient and adaptive. So I could really relate to him in so many ways. And I admire him for...
He's very intelligent, more than people can think. They always see him as this goofy guy, but you watch... See, I have him on Instagram. We have... And he has his every day, his wake up and goals. If you're watching the stories there, and he gets up right in his bed. He just wakes up, grabs his phone, and has his little dog Flounder there, and he's like, okay, his wake up and goals. What do you guys got goals? You got to get up. You got to go. Like, that's just the way he is. He's on the go all the time.
Nice.
And nothing sets him back. And I knew that as soon as I mentioned Bob Proctor, that would pick your ears up too, because he's very much into goal setting himself. And
I didn't know he was into Bob Proctor.
Yeah, very much so. He talks about him all the time.
Yeah, well, goals changed my life. I teach it and preach it all the time. So You know,
and I'm still working on mine, like the ones we did when we first started this podcast way back months ago. And I went and see that friend of mine, that coach, and I told you, and we put a goals list together, and we're still working on it. I'm doing well on it, but it's still popping away at it. So
yeah, you got to keep working on it all the time. Look at them day and night, first thing in the morning, last thing during the day.
Definitely. And that's why I'm glad that we did it more. I'm glad everybody was interested in listening to what he had to say about what we were asking him, as opposed to just showing, okay, here's how he does his lighting, and here's how he does his thing, and learn more about the behind the scenes stuff, as opposed to what you can find out when you go to his website as it is. So
and dig into his thought process, his soul, his heart and soul, and
exactly.
I mean, that applies to everybody pretty much in life. No matter where you're at, you sort of get into the at the very base level of where people are at emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, and it helps. It helps to really calibrate and put you on the right path. It sounds kind of weird, I know.
No, but it does, because I've had a couple times where we all get those days where things happen and you're like, you know what, I'm just giving up. I'm throwing the towel. I'm going to go do. And then you watch somebody like Peter on there, and he's just that passion and that positiveness and everything he does. It just brings you back to another level. It's like, okay, I'm not done yet. I can keep going. Let's go. And that's what I find. I need people like that, and he works really well at doing that. So
I should join the headshot crew.
It's not bad. I think it's like you do the 7-day trial, and he does every day. He sends you an email of different things to go watch, and he shows you how he does this and how he does that. And then afterwards, it's like $25 a month US, or he gives you a deal. If you join right now, you have until the end of this time, the 7 days. You can join for $200 for the year or something like that.
Yeah.
And then it's. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. So.
Yeah. Wow. It's heavy on my mind now. I'm thinking I should really join.
It's good. And it's good. It's not just headshots now. It's actually the headshot crew. But when you go in there, they have the headshot section, and they also have a portrait section.
Nice.
So it's really nice. So I'm looking forward to the whole thing. So
yeah. Is that who's saying that in Facebook user? Is that my daughter? Is that Danielle, or is that Hart? Somebody has not let their identity known.
Yeah, there's a couple of them there, because Hark, and like right now we've got, let's see.
I'll join you, Rob, they said.
That was Bill Guy there.
Oh, hey, Bill Guy. All the way from Phoenix.
No. Sorry, that's Hark. Bill Guy was the next one, which was, that was great. What is the website for the Hurleyisms? I think it's just hurleyisms.com.
Yeah, John posted it. Bill Guy, that's right up his alley.
Yeah, that's what it was. Danielle,
Bill Guy
amazing.
Has got the best memes on his Facebook. I collect them.
Yeah, that's Danielle there. There it is right there, hurleyisms.com. Thanks, John. And then we have Hark said, I'll join with you, Rob.
Nice. There we go. The challenge is on.
Yep. And then John, that's Bill Guy. Thank you.
Too bad they don't have a family program.
Here I am eating on the air, but I'm just hungry.
Facebook user from the city closest to the sun. What city would that be?
That's Bill Guy. Hi from the city closest from the sun. So wherever Bill's from.
Yeah, it's hot down there. Phoenix,
Arizona, probably.
I'll bet you it's 110 there right now.
Never been to Arizona. I've been to LA, but I've never been to Arizona. And I've been to Durango and Cortez, Colorado.
Nice.
Which is
I've been to Phoenix 3 times. I love it there.
Yeah.
We actually wanted to move. It was, I don't know. I love the desert, you know?
Yeah. I did in Cortez, Colorado, or Durango, Colorado. I had to do a swimsuit shoot with a fitness model back in the 90s when I was doing fitness day. So it's a rough job when you got to take a girl in her bikini out and take pictures of her, but somebody had to do it, right?
Oh, man. It's a rough job, but somebody's got to do it. Exactly. I bet you were in pain and agony.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
for sure.
Probably complaining, oh, I hate my job.
Yeah, I always get guys calling me saying, hey, do you need somebody to oil up the model? Or
Yeah. Well, yeah, or as your assistant, right?
Exactly. So, well, I think that was a good show.
Yeah, it was. So next week, Nathan Grant's coming on. He's scheduled. I mean, he said he would, and sometimes they got a glitch in the schedule. Something shows up, but we got Nathan coming back and Judy Cormier coming on soon.
Yep. Hopefully we'll get Maria on one day.
I keep bugging her. She's super busy. I don't know what she's up to. She's up to a second location or something crazy.
Something like that. And
Dan Morency. Well. We got to get Dan back on.
Yeah. Try and get Danny Rabelais. Why not talk about sports photography and school
Yeah.
photography?
Well, now's the time to bring him back. So,
Yeah.
Danny Rabela. All right.
We haven't had him on yet, so.
No, but he's on my list. He's on my hit list.
And if you guys have anybody you would like us to bring on, a certain person you know, let us know because we'll reach out to them in that. I've reached out to a couple well-known photographers. I don't want to say who yet because I'm still waiting to hear back from them. But I have at least one that I've reached out to and I haven't heard back yet. I don't know if I have to send it to the wrong place or what, but I can talk to you that after.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So.
We'll figure it out.
Perfect.
All right, guys. Shall we head
Thank
out?
you, sir. Well, I think we should.
I got to go pack.
So. Yes, you got to go pack because you're going to be here sometime. I think your wife said somewhere around noon or 1 o'clock or something, probably.
We're leaving at 9 sharp.
Okay, so because I had people wanting passport photos, and I told them, well, I'm only good up till noon. So
yeah, Ben Shirk.
I'm not good till Tuesday.
I'd be cool. Ben Shirk's a tough one to get down. I know I had him come to an Inferno once.
Yeah, he's really good with the sports composites and stuff.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'll hit him up.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good one there, John. I'd love to talk to him.
He's amazing. So, all right.
I'll even talk to. I'm going to try and bring on the guy who I do my sports stuff through from Next Gen, in the States, who does all my. He's a photographer himself, but he's actually the company I use that does my sports portraits for me. That I send to them. They cut them out and put them in the backgrounds and stuff.
What's his name? Do you remember? Or?
It is a. It's going to come to me now. Oh shoot. Hark will know his name. Wes. His name's Wes, and he owns Next Gen, Photo Success.
All right.
So I'll see if I can get him on because I think that would be a really good one.
Yeah. Why don't you hit him up?
I will. I'll talk to him.
That'd be cool.
Maybe. All right. So I'll
Thanks, guys.
let everybody go. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you next week.
It was a good time. Take care. The replay will be in the Facebook group. We'll talk to you all later.
All right.